What's up, guys? So today's video is going to be a little bit different in the fact that we're going to go from an experience I had with one of my blue belts last night instead of going off one of your questions. And the reason I'm doing this is because the struggle that he's having is something I think a hell of a lot of people have. I know I've had it. I think honestly most people have it at some point, whether it's in the gym or somewhere outside of the gym. And so what's happening with him is that when he comes into the gym, he is struggling with anxiety, because when he comes into the gym, he's like white knuckling the steering wheel, right? He's listening to certain types of music on his radio in the car, getting himself pumped up, right, ready to go. When he gets into the gym, when it's time to do like drilling and technique, he's not even focused on the drills or the technique. He's looking around at everybody, like being like, okay, who am I going to roll with first? Who's the toughest, right? Trying to plot all this stuff out because he's nervous about it, right? I know I've done that before too. And then he says that if he doesn't perform like he wants to, like he would, like he would expect himself to, or, again, like he would really like to, he says that he starts to judge himself, starts to, beat himself up a bit. And so he says that this thing has created this mess of an issue with him when he's coming into train, because it makes it hard to come in, because again, there's so much anxiety and nervousness and frustration associated with coming into jiu-jitsu, which is supposed to be a fun thing. And when we were talking, I shared a piece of advice with him that I think was really useful, and I'll share it with you guys, and hopefully it's useful to you guys as well as it's been useful to me. So the little tip I'm going to give you guys today actually comes from yoga. So years ago when I started doing like hot yoga, right? My first time going into the class, I figured I got this, right? I'm going to do this hot yoga class. The woman comes into the room, we're all waiting for her, and she comes in and she says, hey guys, listen, if this is your first day, your only goal today is just stay in the room. That's all you got to do today. And she says this, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I've done mixed martial arts. I fight guys in, the cage. I've competed against guys in jiu-jitsu. I'm good, right? This is going to be easy, right? It'll be tough, but it'll be easy. 45 minutes into this class, I'm like cooked. I'm like, I can't do this. I got to get out of this damn hot room. I'm sweating more than I ever have, and I just feel like out of it, and I'm just, I felt like dizzy. I felt like I was going to die. So I was like, I got to get out of this room. And I remember beating myself up over it, because I was like, fuck, man, I just quit. I quit from this hot room, right? And then I remember I went to another class, and the woman said something that was really useful, which was set an intention for today. Your intention is just going to be sit and get in the room. That's it. Today. That's all you're going to do. And she's like, if that means you got to sit down on your butt and just sit there and relax in the hot room, just stay in the room the whole time. That's all you got to do today. And she said, make no judgment of where you are in comparison to others. And that was like one of those things where it's a truth that sort of ring true to me. I was like, oh, it makes so much sense, right? I'm judging myself because I'm leaving the room, but everybody else isn't. And a lot of people do this in jiu-jitsu, right? Even though, yoga is much more of a singular practice. I'm stretching and bending and moving, and this one person's doing their own thing. But in the end, jiu-jitsu is still a singular practice, right? Because you're your own entity. You are testing yourself against other people, but ultimately you're yourself. That's it, right? And one of the things that starts happening is people start to beat themselves up, because they're like, man, I submitted John yesterday, and now John submitted me today, right? Or maybe you just don't perform like you would want to, or you're like looking at someone else like, man, they've been here for 6 months and they're killing it. I can't win anything to save my life, right? There's all these things that enter our head as we start to judge ourselves. So one of the things that I told my blue belt yesterday was to come into the gym, set an intention, right? And the intention, one, is to be here, show up. That's number one, right? That's the biggest thing. You got to show up to training. But two is to don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself, judge the outcome objectively, right? So what I mean by this is when stuff happens, a lot of times people default to just beating themselves up, right? We're all pretty guilty of it. At some point in our life, we've all beat ourselves up, and it's a pretty useless thing, right? It doesn't help you, right? Like, so if I'm rolling with someone and they pass my guard, and after they pass my guard, I just get mad at myself and say, man, my guard sucks. I suck at this. I'm terrible at this. That's useless. It's not helpful at all. But if you say, okay, well, how did they pass my guard? And if you think about it, like, well, they were using this one pass. Well, what can I do to counter that pass? I don't know. I'm going to go ask coach, right? That's a useful sort of mindset, right? You can use that because that's going to make you better. And it's one of these things where we all know this, right? Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. But when you're the nail, you don't like to be, right? And one of the things I think we all understand is that mistakes are the currency of growth, right? Because just like you would, if you went to the store and I was going to buy something, right? I have to pay up, right? I got to pay with some sort of currency, some exchange, right? Well, when you're training, you got to exchange something, and you exchange your hard work, your effort, and mistakes. Mistakes are a part of that equation, right? Because again, if you don't make mistakes, you don't whittle down and figure things out. Every mistake you make is a lesson to be learned. The problem is that if you don't look at the situation objectively and you look at yourself and negatively sort of just judge yourself, like you suck, I suck, right? Start beating yourself up, you miss that little lesson that's there. You miss the little thing that you could be learning from, because you're not looking at it with a clear, cool, calm head, right? And I'm not saying, like when I say don't judge yourself, I'm not saying to like not push yourself, right? Because we always want to be better. We always want to make ourselves a little bit better every day we come in, right? But you don't want to just judge yourself negatively, where again, it's a useless thing to do. It's not going to be helping. It's not going to be helpful for the long term. And if, like, let's say your buddy had the same problem, you would not tell them the same advice that you would tell yourself, right? If your buddy's guard got passed, you'd be like, oh man, what did he do? Let's figure it out. You know, it's not a big deal. You keep working at it. You'll be fine. But when it's yourself, sometimes people have a tendency to sort of beat themselves up a little bit too much. So for you guys, if you struggle with that, if you struggle with beating yourself up, if you struggle with anxiety coming into the gym, my sort of little tip for you today to take away, something to actively try the next time you go into the gym, and it honestly, it helps more than you might think. Set in your head, make an intention. Your intention one is to get to the gym, okay? The second thing is to simply don't judge yourself. Right? Like go in there and really work hard, push yourself 100%, try to hit your moves, whatever it is that you're doing. But if you fall short of your goal, if you don't do as well as you would like, make no judgment on yourself. If you're going to make a judgment, pull back and make it objectively on the situation that happened and see what you can learn from it. So guys, that was kind of what I told him. It was helpful to him. That kind of idea, that mindset's been helpful to me, and hopefully it's helpful to you guys. So I'll talk to you guys next time.